welcome to this Bon series of the Business School of the Northwest University. I'm speaking to Ted Muzoroza. Ted has extensive experience on agriculture in Zimbabwe, and with specific reference to the relationship between small-scale agriculture and large value chains. Thank you for being with us, Ted. Could you explain to me what is that relationship between small-scale agriculture and large-scale value chains? Because that's one of the questions that we grapple with in South Africa, especially in reference to land reform.
Pleasure to speak to you. In Zimbabwe, we have to situate farms in a wider understanding of the new agrarian structure post our fast-track land reform in year 2000. We now have communal farmers, communal small-scale farmers, old resettlement farms, the new A1 resettlement farms, which are like 6 hectares to 20 hectares, depending on the ecological region, and the medium-scale farms, as well as the estates and conservancies. Small-scale farming in Zimbabwe, like large-scale farming, is very important and integral part of the economy, in that it contributes highly towards food security, employment creation, income generation for households, and indeed, Zimbabwe is moving away from land reform to a wider agrarian reform that's changing the whole agrarian economy. In Zimbabwe, small-scale farms produce about 60% of food requirements, as opposed to 40% by large-scale farms. This can be compared to South Africa, where almost 4,000 small-scale farms, especially in the homelands, produce about 5%, around 5%, compared to the 35,000 traditionally white commercial farms who produce the rest, which will be about 95%. So you can see that in Zimbabwe, small-scale farming is quite an integral part of the agricultural value chains.
Ted, is there a cooperative relationship between small-scale farm and large-scale farming in Zimbabwe? Is there a formal relationship that exists between them?
Well, I think what you see is they do belong to different unions, but where they seem to cooperate is like at individual, call it an individual level, where some small-scale farms are contracted by large-scale farmers to produce on their behalf.
Yeah, that seems to be the practice that they aim for in South Africa as well. What type of government policies do you think will facilitate such a relationship, will make it possible for small-scale farmers to make a contribution in the context of a value chain?
In terms of government policy in Zimbabwe, I think the bigger issue, I think, centers on funding. In terms of providing, the seeds, fertilizers, as opposed to providing social grants, is what in South Africa. So to that extent, created a land bank to specifically focus on the funding of the farmers.
Is there no land bank in Zimbabwe? They don't have a land bank in Zimbabwe.
Funny, we used to have it. We used to have it. Then now the government is coming back again to actually formulate a land bank to specifically cater for the needs of the farmers, both small scale and large scale. And I did allude to the issue of contract farming. The government is also encouraging contract farming, not only by local large-scale farmers, but even foreign investors to enter into JVs with the small-scale farmers, and indeed contract farming with the small scale farmers, especially.
Is there still
and really the government? Sure.
Is there still direct foreign investment coming into the Zimbabwean agriculture? In other words, big companies from America or Europe investing in Zimbabwean economy or in agriculture?
I think what you see mostly happening now is the investors from China, especially in agriculture and cotton farming. We have a lot of that contract farming. And talking of America and Europe, Zimbabwe is going into cannabis farming. So we are seeing an interest in that sector at the moment. But let me point out that Piet, that the trust of the government, especially towards both small scale farmers and large scale farms, is really to treat farming as a business, as opposed to really move away from subsistence farming.
And to set up a value chain system, isn't it? To set up a value chain system, yeah.
It is part of the value chain, you know. So you see, that's where the government is also coming in terms of, you know, agriculture extension, mechanization, you know, moving away from use of drought power to you know, use of tractors, especially for the small scale farms. And indeed, the subsidies I did allude to, where farmers are given you know, seeds, fertilizers, and then that money is taken at the end after they've produced, you know, post harvest. So this is really a move away from you know, the Washington consensus, where subsidy was a dirty word. So the push is really in terms of providing that subsidy to the farmers, as opposed to you know, social grants as happens in South Africa. And this social program seems to be working.
And Ted, is Zimbabwean agriculture growing? Has it turned around, Zimbabwean agriculture?
Well, I think with perfect weather conditions, as occurred in the last farming season, really, you know, Zimbabwe can almost start boasting that we're getting back to the, you know, food basket of Southern Africa. The last season, we almost where we were before, you know, in the early 80s, where we were the food basket of Southern Africa. It was like this year, in terms of our food requirements, we like, for instance, grain, we require about 1.7 million tons, but I think we've gone up to almost 4 million tons. So that has been quite significant. Especially, and as I said before, 60% of that is coming from small scale farms.
Fantastic. Ted, thank you very much. I appreciate you talking to me, and all the best. And I hope for many great rainy seasons in Zimbabwe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Piet, for the opportunity.